Hi, I'm Ryan, and I'm here to make you richer. Not richer in the way most finance channels promise. Not get-rich-quick schemes, not secret stock tips, not some hidden formula that turns $500 into a Lamborghini by next Tuesday. I mean actually richer. The kind of richer that comes from understanding how money really works, then doing a handful of boring, repeatable things long enough for the math to take over. If that sounds unglamorous, good. Because unglamorous is exactly why it works. Almost nobody around you is doing it. And that's not because it's complicated. It's because it's quiet, slow at first, and completely uninteresting to talk about at parties. Which is exactly why the people who actually build wealth tend to do it without anyone noticing until it's already done. Here's what I've noticed after spending way too much time studying how regular people, not celebrities, not trust fund kids, not people with some secret advantage, actually end up financially comfortable while people with similar incomes stay stuck. It almost never comes down to intelligence. It almost never comes down to luck. It comes down to a small number of decisions made consistently over a long period of time, while everyone else is reacting to whatever financial emergency or temptation shows up that week. So let me tell you exactly what this channel is going to do for you, because I think you deserve to know what you're signing up for. First, we're going to talk about the psychology of money before we ever talk about the mechanics. Because here's something almost nobody tells you. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a brain problem that happens to show up in their bank account. Your brain evolved to keep you alive in immediate danger, not to optimize a retirement account 40 years from now. Once you understand that your brain is actively working against your long-term financial interests, you stop blaming yourself for things that were never really about willpower in the first place. You start building systems instead of relying on motivation, because motivation is unreliable and systems are not. Second, we're going to talk about the actual numbers. Real ones. Not vague advice like save more or spend less, which is true but useless because it doesn't tell you what to actually do on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm talking about specific thresholds, the exact dollar amount where your financial stress starts to lift, the specific percentage where lifestyle inflation quietly destroys a six-figure salary, the precise math behind why paying off debt slowly costs you more than almost anything else you'll ever do with money. Numbers you can actually use, not numbers you nod along to and forget 5 minutes later. Third, we're going to talk about the decisions that compound. Not just compound interest, although that matters enormously. I mean the decisions that quietly compound on top of each other over years. The car you choose, the job moves you make or don't make, the credit card habits you build. Each one feels small in the moment. None of them feel like they matter on any individual day. But strung together over a decade, they're the entire difference between two people with identical incomes ending up in completely different financial positions. And fourth, this is the part most finance content skips entirely. We're going to talk honestly about what wealth is actually for. Because if you build money without ever clarifying what it's supposed to buy you, you end up rich on paper and still anxious in real life. Money that doesn't translate into time, options, and the ability to walk away from situations that aren't serving you isn't really doing its job. The whole point of this isn't to die with the biggest number. It's to build enough freedom that your daily life actually feels like yours. Now, I want to be upfront about something because I think honesty builds more trust than hype ever will. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is personalized financial advice. What I'm sharing is what the research says, what the math says, and what consistently shows up across the financial lives of people who quietly succeed versus people who quietly struggle despite trying just as hard. You should think critically about everything I say, run your own numbers, and apply what actually fits your situation. That's not a disclaimer to cover myself. That's genuinely how I think this should work. Here's something I want you to sit with for a second. Right now, today, you are either building wealth or you're funding someone else's. Every dollar that leaves your hands goes somewhere. It either compounds for you in an investment, or it compounds for a bank in interest, or it compounds for a company in profit margin on something that depreciated the moment you bought it. There is no neutral option. Money is always moving, always working for somebody. The only real question is whether it's working for you or against you. And most people have simply never stopped to ask that question clearly. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to hand you back some control, because once you see money this way, every decision becomes a little more obvious. Should you carry that credit card balance? You're choosing to let your money work for the bank instead of for you. Should you upgrade your lifestyle the moment you get a raise? You're choosing to let your money disappear into things you'll stop noticing within a month instead of letting it compound into actual freedom. None of these choices are moral failures. They're just choices made without the full picture. My job here is to give you the full picture. I'm not going to pretend this channel will make you a millionaire by next year, because anyone promising that is selling you something, not teaching you something. What I can promise is this. If you stick around, you're going to understand exactly why some people with average incomes build serious wealth, while others with impressive salaries stay broke. You're going to understand the actual mechanics behind debt, investing, lifestyle creep, career decisions, and the psychology underneath all of it. And you're going to walk away from every single video with something specific you can actually act on, not just a vague feeling of motivation that fades by tomorrow morning. So here's where we start. Not with the biggest, flashiest concept I could find to get your attention. We start with the foundation, because foundations are boring and foundations are everything. Everything we build on this channel sits on top of understanding how your own brain handles money, because no strategy in the world works if you're fighting yourself every step of the way. I'm Ryan. This is where we start building something real. Let's get into it.